morning, Sac City. Welcome in to another edition of Pigskins and Pancakes, presented by a Sac City podcast. I am your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by the Mukesiah himself, Aaron Mukes, my best friend, I should say. And below us, we have your boy, AJ Johnson. It is a beautiful October 9th morning here in the city with Pigskins and Pancakes about to get underway. We've got a great slate of fantasy football talk coming your way. We've got rankings, we've got our sleepers, we've got our streamers, and we have, of course, our DFS plays of the week. Ooh, I'm ready to get. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to get rolling. Are you guys okay if I don't ask you any questions to start the show?
I mean,
you're gonna ask
anything?
us questions all shows.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
By the way,
let's get down to business. Aaron, you do this every week. How many players do you rank every week? So it's a total of what, 100 plus players a week when it comes to your rankings?
Well, I only send you what, 50, about like 80, I believe, 80 or 90, but I rank like 150.
This man ranks 150 players week by week by week, just for you people at home. You people.
And he doubled down.
I changed my mind. I think we do need to talk about something else before we talk about the rankings. There's a game on this morning. We at least got to cover the first half. What we've seen. Yep. Fantasy impact. Did you guys put in Romeo Doubs into your lineup? Because so far he's been got one catch, I believe, 15 yards, two catches for like 15 yards, something like that. Did you start Randall Cobb?
So right now, the Green Bay Packers are taking on the New York Giants in London, and the fantasy implications of that game, if you are interested, if you have guys going in this game, let's just take a look and see what it is at halftime. Aaron Rodgers has 13 points at halftime. The highest performer right now, other than Aaron Rodgers, is Randall Cobb, 5 receptions, 76 yards in that game.
And your boy, Vinny. First catch of the season. It's in pay dirt. One Mercedes Lewis.
Mercedes! Hey, man, that dude's a legend. Going to the Hall of Fame. Best tight end in the world right there, man. That's it right there. But yeah, so that's the fantasy implications. What have you guys seen from this first half in terms of fantasy? Saquon, quiet. I don't even want to say quiet. 7 carries, 55 yards, only 1 reception to start the first half. I guess that's a standard. That's not that.
It's revving up. It's revving up. I mean,
he was actually really quiet in the first half. The 55 yards came on the one long 40-yard run that he broke. But a lot of it has been Green Bay's defense has been focused in on him because Daniel Jones hasn't really been able to move with that ankle injury, which I think has changed a lot. I know we're not big fans of Daniel Jones on this show, but when he's able to run the football, it does open things up a little bit for that offense, and he can't do that right now. So that's been a big thing. I think the biggest thing, though, is I think we're starting to see, we've spent a lot of time in the offseason talking about who's going to be the number one receiver for the Green Bay Packers. And I don't think they have one. I think it's a wide receiver. Remember what we said with Kansas City? It's wide receiver by committee.
Yeah, if there's one thing that we are like for sure right about, one thing that we're for sure right about on this show from what we talked about in the beginning of the season or preseason was that Kansas City and Green Bay would both have wide receiver by committees. And after 4 weeks now going into 5, there is still no answer of who's the number one receiver in Kansas City and who's the number one receiver in Green Bay. Right now, at least in terms of targets, it's Randall Cobb with 8 right now, but that wasn't the same last week. You can't say that last week. Then there's Allen Lazard, who has 2 catches for 9 yards and a tutty, but it's like you said, it's a wide receiver by committee. But on the Giants side of things, no Sterling Shepard, where there's pretty much none of their normal weapons are in the game, and it's been Darius Slayton who has been the number one guy with 4 targets, 3 receptions for 46 yards. To me, it just seems like what I've seen in the first half from the Giants is that they are really – Brian Daboll is getting really creative to try and get everyone involved in this offense, whether it's Richie James, AJ's boy Daniel Bellinger, who has a touchdown in this game. They're finding different ways to get everyone involved, and I mean – it's not that it's helping right now against Green Bay, but for fantasy purposes,
they're just outmatched.
Yeah. For fantasy purposes, it's still Saquon and then everybody else. We'll keep an eye on the second half though, and let you guys know if anything big happens in this game that's worth mentioning for fantasy. Let's get into your rankings, though, Aaron. And your running backs 1 through 12. We're starting things off with Nick Chubb at number 1, going up against the Chargers. A juicy matchup there, followed by Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Christian McCaffrey at number 6. Aaron, I want to start off by asking you a question here about Christian McCaffrey. He slowly started to fall on your rankings. Not that it's a big fall, and not that he's a bad player, and none of that. But is the usage of Christian McCaffrey in the rushing game affecting your rankings of him, or is it just everyone else ahead of him is just set to have a better day?
I think it's a combination of things. It's not, to me, this is less about Christian McCaffrey and more about who he's playing against. In the 49ers, we know that's one of the best defenses in football. Some of the other guys match up, but no, it's not really about Christian McCaffrey. It's not even really about his usage, to be honest, because outside of the first game, when he only got 10 rushing attempts, I guess last game he only got 8 carries, but he did end up getting nine catches. They've still found ways to get him the football. So he's still averaging 20 touches a game almost. And he's a productive player. He's still the number 5 running back right now in PPR. And we would say it's been a down year for Christian McCaffrey. So I would say he falls today because of the 49ers matchup. I really think they're a good defense. The only reason he's really probably at 5 is because I believe Carolina's at home in this game, right? If this was in San Francisco, he probably would be even a little bit lower. I do think they have a good day at stopping the run. But this is about Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield's got to find ways to get Christian McCaffrey the ball in space. It can't be look downfield, still try to look downfield, and then check to Christian McCaffrey when the linebacker's already on him. It's got to be look downfield, nothing's there, check it down, let Christian McCaffrey be in space and go to work. And we haven't seen a lot of that enough. But a little bit to do with Baker, a little bit to do with Matt Rule, and then a little bit to do with the matchup. But Christian McCaffrey, again, no alarms ringing here. He's in your lineup. His floor is way too high to be contemplating doing anything with him.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like it's Christian McCaffrey. You're not taking him out of your lineup. Maybe you're tempering your expectations a tad, but really that's nothing to be worried about with Christian McCaffrey. AJ, when you look at his top 12 running backs here, what name jumps out to you as maybe a good, maybe set to have a good week?
I didn't plan it this way, but twice in the show, man, I'm going to bat for you, Vinny. It's your guy down there at the bottom. The first James listed, James Robinson. I love the fact that you got him as an RB1 because I think that's exactly where he falls in today, except I think he has a good chance to be a little bit higher than that. We talked about last week how the game was really sloppy in terms of the weather and in terms of the way the football game was played. But this week, I think they get back to a real balanced attack, and I think you see him get a lot more attempts than he did. Last week, he only got 8 attempts. Look for him to get 15 or 20 this week. Houston's really bad against the run. They're averaging the most fantasy points given up to running backs and 5.1 yards per carry to running backs in the NFL. So that's a prime matchup for a guy like James Robinson. When you feed him, he just gets better and better. So I think James Robinson has a chance to get up onto the left side of your graphic there, Vinny, on the top 6, maybe even top 5 today. I really like James Robinson. He will be definitely starting everywhere I have him.
This is not a knock on James Robinson, and I'm going to make that very clear. Everybody knows. I know sometimes it's hard to tell, but because I make fun of Vinny all the time. But I love James Robinson. I think he should be the every down back. I know it's only been 1 week, but I'm starting to get a little bit worried that we are going to see more Travis Etienne as the season goes on and less James Robinson. 2 reasons. One, because I do think they like the explosiveness of Travis Etienne. But number 2, I keep going back to this. Doug Peterson wants to throw the football. He wants to. He will run it when it really comes down to it, he'll run it. But he really wants to throw the football. And I think he likes Travis Etienne in the game in that role. And so there are some slight concerns about the potential, about the ceiling of a James Robinson. The most percentage of snaps he's played this year has been 63, and that was that week 2 win where they dominated time of possession. It's been 63%. Other than that, it's been about 50-50, him and Travis Etienne. I don't like that as far as snap percentage on you being a top 5, top 6, top 7 back, because you have to have what we talked about those first couple of weeks, those big runs, or he's got to get into the end zone 2 or 3 times, and I can't count on that enough. So I worry. Again, solid play, put him in your lineup. You're not benching him, but I do think his upside is going to be capped as the season goes on because number one, they like Travis Etienne, and number two, that snap percentage early in the season has been too close together for me to think that he's just going to run away and start getting 60 and 70% of the snaps.
I feel you. I hear you said it was only 1 week, but I think last week was mostly to do because they did get down fast and they needed to try to catch up. So a lot of that pass game work went to Travis Etienne. And you're right about the snaps, and obviously they wanted to use.
But they didn't. They were up 14-0.
Yeah, and then it all went to hell. I mean, after it was up 14-0 pretty quickly, and one of those plays for a touchdown came from the defense. But
sounds like a prime position to run the football to me.
And it didn't work. And then they waited until they were behind, and now it's time to pass the ball to Travis Etienne.
I'm a little worried here. We saw the usage of James Robinson last week, and I don't want to talk about James Robinson for too much longer, but last week in that game, when you're in a muddy, sloppy game like that, your prime game plan should be handing the rock to your number one running back and killing it. And even after the Jaguars went up 14-0, we didn't see much of James Robinson after that first quarter. And they were up 14-0 in that first, it's not like they went up 14-0 and then used James Robinson, then got down and didn't use James Robinson. They were up. And in a game script like that, where it's a muddy game, a sloppy game, your quarterback is fumbling like crazy, you still don't use James Robinson. The concern is definitely there for me for James Robinson. Like, as someone who has been very high on him and loving him for the season, I do see it. I'm not sure if Travis Etienne is going to be. I still worry about the effectiveness of Travis Etienne in games, but
agreed.
I think that, like you said, Aaron, I think that we do see a little bit more Travis Etienne, and I don't know.
I don't think it's right, by the way. I don't know that's the right direction.
I don't think that's the right move, but that's not what this fantasy show is about. That's for our shows during the week. Check us out live, 10 a.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. But going back to your running back rankings here, 1 through 12. Aaron, is there any name that stands out to you that you wanted to talk about in your 1 to 12, or you want to move on to your back half of your running backs?
No, I want to talk about number 5, Alvin Kamara, and this might be the last time he's there if he disappoints today. He's back. He took a week off. He's supposedly healthy. There's no better matchup than the Seattle Seahawks right now. We saw what Jamal Williams was able to do. Craig Reynolds had a couple of big runs there. I think this is the spot for Alvin Kamara to get right. And this is the chance for the Saints to get back on the right track. And I get it. It's still Andy Dalton and it's not Jameis, but how much of a difference is that really? Dalton's had some success in this league. He has the ability to check down. I expect Alvin Kamara to be involved heavily. And if he's not, then I'm going to have some serious concerns about Alvin Kamara moving forward, because I don't know how much this changes over time with Andy Dalton versus Jameis Winston. If they can't get it right against Seattle at home, then I'm gonna start to reevaluate where I think Alvin Kamara is for the rest of the season.
It's not even so much that it's Alvin Kamara that is the problem. It's the way this offense is running, like the way the play calling and not being able to really get him involved. And we talk about all the time, maybe their 1-3 record has a lot to do with not putting the ball in your best player's hands, AKA Alvin Kamara. That's where I think I'm at with Alvin Kamara.
Well, you've only had the 1.5 game that you've been able to do it with him anyways. You can't put it in his hands if he's not really available for it. So I get it. You just I understand, because honestly, I feel like we were expecting a lot more from Alvin Kamara when he was in the game, and it hasn't been there yet. I'm not saying you shouldn't be reevaluating, because I felt that way up to this point too. But it also, I think we just need to make sure he's healthy and he's in the lineup. And if it continues at that point, then we really, really take a hard look into it.
Well, that's part of it too. You can't. If you spent a high pick on Alvin Kamara, you expected a certain amount of level of production that you're obviously not getting yet. Now, 5 weeks into the season, if you now have 3 games where you've played, 2 that you haven't, so you're not getting anything there, and then 3 where you did play and you're not producing, at some point you have to look at that. And I still think Alvin Kamara has enough name value to where you probably could trade him for a nice return and still get some value out of it. and not worry about the ceiling of Alvin Kamara being reached. Because again, if he can't reach that ceiling against Seattle, a bad defense this bad, then he's probably not going to get there this season. And maybe he still comes out and maybe he's still an RB1 rest of the season, but maybe it's a low end RB1, maybe a high end RB2. And with that, I'm okay with moving on from that question mark and not having to deal with the week in, week out. I'm concerned, and I have a lot invested in Alvin Kamara because I think he should be better than what he is. But I do have some concerns if he does not look the part today, if he does not receive enough volume today, after they said he looks good and he's healthy again, I'm going to be concerned. I'll probably try to move him in some leagues.
Siren the alarms, alert, alert, red alert. Alvin Kamara.
So, hot route.
Your back half of your running backs here: Clyde, Damien Harris at 14, Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, Damian Pierce, Najee Harris. And for the first time on this list, we go to 24. Breece Hall makes your top 24 running backs. Aaron, what are you seeing from Breece Hall that makes you think, okay, he's on the rise?
Yeah, very similar to the Travis Etienne situation. His snap percentage has increased over the last 3 weeks. He played almost 70% of the snaps last week. He is starting to become the guy. He didn't run the ball a whole lot the first 3 weeks. Zach Wilson comes back and you run the ball 17 times. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's the one-off. Maybe it's an anomaly. But more than that, he's got 27 targets through 4 games. Again, hard to argue getting those opportunities for a talent that he has. And I wasn't excited about Breece Hall this year, but it looks to be as the tides are shifting in his favor over a Michael Carter. And he is more of a prototypical back than Michael Carter, so we knew that. I just thought it would take him a while before they actually let loose. But it looks like they're starting to go that direction. And if it continues today, again, you could be looking at a nice, solid value going forward. Again, I'm not overly excited because it is the Jets. They're not going to run for 150 yards a game. As you can see, his yards per carry are not very good outside of the 1 week where he averaged 7 only on 7 carries. So his inefficiency is still there, but the amount of targets, them playing from behind, the checkdowns, all of those things are going to come into play. And I think he could give you that RB2 value. He's been an RB2 this season so far. So I like him in that range.
Yeah, I believe AJ said it this earlier on this week. We were starting to see why the Jets drafted him. We're starting to see that type of player what we saw in college from Breece Hall, that type of impact player that we can potentially see from him. AJ, when you look at 13 through 24, what name stands out to you?
It's funny. I've been waiting to get here. And I didn't think it'd be today, but I'm looking at number 23. We're at the bottom of this list. Ramon J Stevenson. He's got himself a pretty solid matchup today, and they've been using him more and more as the weeks go on. Started with 8 attempts in week 1, all the way up to 14 rushing attempts in week 4 for 66 rushing yards. He's been getting some passing work, 5 targets in the last 2 games. And we talk about Detroit's defense over and over again. And on top of that, as much as Aaron loves the Zapster, and he's getting his first start today, he is still a third-string quarterback, and they're going to want to help him out. So I think Damien Harris and Ramon J Stevenson get a pretty decent amount of run today, a lot of decent work. I have him in a couple of leagues. I don't know where I'm going to be able to play him because I have so much depth at running back, and it's really hard. But I am looking at him today in a couple of DFS plays if I can, because I think he has a pretty good matchup and a pretty good shot to repeat one of his 20-point performances from week 3. So look for 23 Ramondre.
Yeah, I like Ramon J Stevenson. If you notice where I have Damien Harris, I have him in my top 12. And the one thing that I think was kind of it was 14. Okay, my bad. One thing that I think we have to point out here is Ramon J Stevenson has outsnapped Damien Harris for the most part. But I want to remind people, because people could look at that. I want to remind people a lot of that is because New England is behind in these games. So when you look at that, I look at the touches, I look at the carries, and Damien Harris is still the lead guy as far as getting those opportunities to run the football. I think this is a good game for New England to either keep it really close to where they can still run it, or be ahead to where they can still lean on Damien Harris and obviously include a Ramon J Stevenson. But Ramon J Stevenson is going to be the guy out of the backfield for the opportunities in the pass game, as well as getting those opportunities on the ground. Somewhere between 8 to 12 touches is usually where he's at in the running game. So I do like him to be able to return that top 24 value. I think he can get in the end zone against the Detroit Lions defense that allowed how many yards to Rashad Penny. We've seen the defense be bad all year. I don't think it changes today. I think they have a little bit more success because they're going against Bailey Zappi, is a young quarterback. But I still think New England will be able to move the ball and be able to get some things going on the ground. So I expect Ramon J Stevenson and Damien Harris both to have really good days. Put them both in your lineup, and you should feel okay about it.
Both top 24 performances from the New England Patriots running backs are what we are expecting here today. Let's go to the wide receiver position. Your top 12 wide receivers headlined by Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, the usual names, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, and Mike Evans slotting in at number 6. AJ, what player here stands out to you the most?
All right. This is very nitpicky, but I'm going to do it anyways. And I think you have Jamar Chase slightly too high. And I get it. He is an uber talented receiver. We like what we see from him as a rookie. We like what we saw from him coming into the NFL. And you look at last year, they're playing Baltimore tonight. Last year, he had 46.1 fantasy point games per game against Baltimore. Just had a ridiculous stat line against this team. Baltimore's defense isn't doing great. I get it. But I feel like Chase has kind of underperformed this season so far, just a little bit. You know, he's had the volume there, but he scored less than 15 fantasy points per game in all 3 games since week 1. Been outperformed by T. Higgins in all 3 games since week 1. I like him. You're not benching him. I think I'm just tempering my expectations a little bit. I look at the guys you have underneath him, and I feel like maybe 10 or 11 is where he belongs. I think you have CeeDee Lamb below him, who's going up against an LA Rams defense who's still yet to figure it out, ranking 30th against wide receivers right now in fantasy. So while Jamar Chase is probably belonging on this front page of the rankings, I feel like he may have underperformed a little bit so far this season, and I'd probably drop him a few spots, maybe underneath A.J. Brown, maybe move CeeDee Lamb up, some things like that.
I don't really have a problem with that thought process. He easily could be number 10. But you trust the talent here, and you trust a team with Joe Burrow and an offense that looks like they're starting to get their footing. And let's be honest, as much as I love Baltimore's defense, they're worst against the pass. They're the worst defense against the pass. And when you give up 315 yards a game in the passing game, yeah, T. Higgins is going to get some of that, but so is Jamar Chase. You got to assume he's going to be part of that equation as well. So this is more just about how Baltimore's defense has been playing, how Cincinnati has been playing over the past couple of weeks. And I do think they are going to have to throw the football in this game to keep up with Baltimore, to continue to do what they've been doing. Sorry, I was watching a deep pass to Romeo Doubs as I was speaking about this. By the way, he overthrew him. But yeah. I really do. I think Jamar Chase's game is coming. And I think what teams have done early in the season is they have tried to take away Jamar Chase. And I think they're realizing, like, yeah, T. Higgins is a wide receiver 1. Like, I mean, not a fantasy perspective, but the talent level of a guy. Remember, he was a top draft, like he was a high draft pick, believe first pick of second round or something like that. Yeah. He was supposed to be a dude, and he is. And people forget that. So now I think they're going to have to start reevaluating how they approach the Cincinnati offense. We can't just double Jamar and then leave Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins because they are also very talented. We're going to have to find different ways to scheme it up, to confuse Joe Burrow. I think Jamar Chase's breakout game is coming. Maybe it's this week, maybe it's not, but I'm going to bank on the talent. I just think there's too much there to drop him lower than that. I don't want to miss out on the Jamar Chase 3 touchdown, 180-yard game. And you're starting him anyways, and you're going to start him anyways. So I probably ranked him at his upside right now this week, but I can live with that. Yeah.
It's a testament to the rest of your first page, really, at that point, and the people above him. Because when I look at those guys, and I was like, who can I look at here? There's not much above 7. You know, I like what Mike Evans has against Atlanta and what Tom Brady and those guys do to Atlanta every single time. We know Cooper Kupp is only going to be the person that Matt Stafford throws to. So, the first page is basically spot on. And but that was the first place I would look at, and it's a primetime game. You know, the lights are going to be on them, and I'll just say too, Baltimore, they're breaking my heart right now. I thought that defense was going to be special this year after all those injuries they had last year. Maybe there's still time to get it right, but to what accord? I mean, like, I don't know if you go from worst to first by any point in time in the season. So, reevaluation for me is coming on that team as well.
They played some good offenses, so I don't know how much. They played
I mean, they played really good defense against Buffalo for the most part.
Yeah,
back-to-back 17-point. Like,
yeah, but at some point you do have to look at the offense and say, hey, man, you get that much of a lead and you see a team start coming back, you got to eventually answer with a score.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go on to the back half of your wide receivers here, 13 through 24. Terry McLaurin, Drake London at 14, Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks, Devontae Smith, and Gabe Davis making his debut in the top 24 in your rankings here at 24 against Pittsburgh. Aaron, what name was the hardest to rank here? Which name in this group specifically was the hardest to put where they are?
It was 22. It was Deontay Johnson because I love the matchup, to be honest. I think they are going to be behind. I think Deontay Johnson has a chance of being a top 12 play this week. But I don't know what the chemistry is like between him and Kenny Pickett. I haven't seen Kenny Pickett yet. I do think they're going to be behind in this game, and they're going to have to throw a ton. And I think that bodes well because the Buffalo's banged up in the secondary. No Jordan Poyer, no Micah Hyde, no Tre'Davious White. A bunch of young guys out there. And I think that Deontay Johnson is still the best route runner on that team. I think he's still the best receiver on that team. So you have to assume he's going to get his fair share of targets. We're talking about a guy that's dominated the targets in that wide receiver room for the last 3 years, really. He's seen double-digit targets every week, except for last week. He only had 4 targets. That is a little bit worrisome because I don't know if that's this was just the one-off, or is this going to be a theme with Kenny Pickett? Is he going to start looking only for George Pickens because he has a connection with him, or a Pat Freiermuth because he's the tight end and that's what young players tend to do? So I want to see where Kenny Pickett's going with the football, if he's running their offense, because if he's running their offense and doing the things they're supposed to be doing, he's throwing to Deontay Johnson. We noticed that didn't change with Big Ben. It didn't change with Mitchell Trubisky. He was still seeing those targets. And then Kenny Pickett comes in and those drop. So obviously it's just one game, but I want to see it a little bit more today before I really evaluate where Deontay belongs for the rest of the season. So I dropped him a little bit because of the uncertainty. Normally he's going to be a lot higher than that, but today I put him down. Bad match, or really a good matchup, but a tough team to play with a younger quarterback. So I dropped him.
Yeah, it's just the expectations here of what Kenny Pickett can bring to Deontay Johnson's fantasy value. That's the biggest concern. I think on Tuesday we talked about the impact of some of these new quarterbacks coming in. We talked about Teddy Bridgewater impacting the Dolphins wide receivers, and then also the impact of what Kenny Pickett has for guys like Deontay Johnson. So not necessarily out on them, just a wait and see method for them. And obviously they're still in your lineup no matter what. It's just temper those expectations with Kenny Pickett now at quarterback. I really like Drake London there at 14. This is a game where Atlanta's going to have to keep up with Tampa Bay. No Kyle Pitts. He is the guy. No Cordero Patterson. Like it's Drake London, and then it's everyone else. And last year, remember? Well,
I was just going to say, don't be surprised if they run the ball 83 times.
Well, what I was thinking here is like what we saw last year with Kyle Pitts in that offense, where he was really the only guy. It's going to be that's how it's going to be in this game, where Drake London is the only guy. No Cordero Patterson, no Kyle Pitts, no Cordero Patterson. It's a recipe for success for Drake London to have a good day today. Settle down with your no-name Falcons.
Bailey, pay attention to the show, please. Christian Kirk was in there. Jesus.
Right there at number 11. Right there at number
Pay attention
11.
If you're going to call me out. I don't like being called out if you're not paying attention.
Yeah. Moving on to the quarterbacks here, 1 through 12. Patty Mahomes, surprise. Really surprise is the top 3. Patty Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. When they're all 3 playing on a Sunday or a Monday, that they're all 3 probably going to be 1, 2, and 3 or some way, shape, or form. So those are the top 3, followed by Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, your top 6. We talk about it all the time how rushing quarterbacks or non-rushing quarterbacks are put lower sometimes because, well, the rushing impact's not there, and it started to rank high amongst top quarterbacks. But Tom Brady slots in at number 4. Aaron, what went into putting Tom Brady so high on this list?
It's just the matchup, really, but also the fact that he's got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin back healthy. I think that game is coming where the Buccaneers offense gets it right, and this could be the Tom Brady 4 or 5 touchdown game. Just, I get it's a division game, but it's going to happen. It is only a matter of time. And I have seen Tom Brady. I've seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against this Falcon team before, and
see. The devil don't like the Lord don't like ugly.
I don't think that defense is. I don't think that defense is good enough to contain Tom Brady and that passing attack. Just my thought process. Tom Brady, we know, is a great quarterback. One of these games he's going to break out, and I think it's today.
Hey, man,
AJ,
it's a first place game. Playing first place in the division. We showing up. We ready. We here. Rise up, baby. Rise up.
Breaking news. The Atlanta Falcons actually show up to the wrong stadium. They actually show up to the wrong stadium. Okay, so Tom Brady at number 4. AJ, out of the quarterbacks, which one stands out to you in terms of too high, too low, or maybe just right?
I'm looking at Derek Carr today tomorrow to be slightly too low. I get it. The Raiders, we expected a lot more from the Raiders. But I've talked about how I do like Kansas City's defense, but when it comes to fantasy, they've been a pretty good matchup for quarterbacks. They've allowed 20 points in every game except to the Indianapolis Colts and Matt Ryan, and we know what they're about. And that was in a loss. But Derek Carr has been around 20 points each week, except for last week when he played against that Denver defense, which we say is the only really good part about that Broncos team so far. Now Hunter Renfrow is going to be back. That's another weapon for them to utilize. So now you got Devontae Adams. Now you got Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and he's been a big piece of that offense when he is lined up. Now you look at those other quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, Tom Brady, who put up those 20 points. And while we don't think Derek Carr is at that caliber, we know he's not as low as Matt Ryan. We've always looked at him as a talented quarterback who can get the job done. And he has the requisite pieces and the requisite weapons to be able to put up a 20 or 20-plus point performance. So I think he has an opportunity to be a little bit higher today. So I look at Derek Carr as a good start, especially, I have him in the 2-quarterback league, so I'm okay with where he's going to be playing. But and then if I could, I'm going to just say this. Kirk Cousins, I actually think you have in a good spot. When I looked at it first, I thought it was a little higher. But be wary. Chicago it's a divisional matchup, so it's going to be a little tougher. But that pass defense of the Chicago Bears is something that's actually been doing them quite well. Allowed about 250, maybe less, I think it is. They're top 5 in pass yards per game. So he might have a tough go at it. It might be a Dalvin Cook day. Even banged up, he's shown he can play with that harness. So just be a little weary when it comes to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I like the Kirk Cousins take. Bears are only allowing 168 yards passing a game, but that's because everybody can run on them, as we saw with some of these other teams. They've also played Davis Mills, Trey Lance, and them in the slop fest. So that it's a little bit of a misnomer. I don't want to say it's not, but there's a little bit of a leery about how good that pass defense really is, especially how young they are. Excuse me, I'm dying. But to get back to the Derek Carr thing, you answered the question, my own point, really, when you mentioned the other 3 guys, the Chiefs that played. Well, yeah, Brady, Kyler, and Herbert. Of course, they've given up 20 points. God, I can't even get it out. I like the matchup for Derek Carr because I do think he has to keep pace, and I do like the fact that Hunter Renfrow is coming back. But I can't look at that list above him and be like, yep, I like Derek Carr better than that guy. Yep, I like Derek Carr, but there's not really that place for Derek Carr to be any higher. And Derek Carr's upside, is always going to be limited in fantasy. It just is. For whatever reason, he's just not the guy that's going to go 400 or 350 and 3 touchdowns. It happens every once in a while. I'm not saying he's never done it, but that consistency of him, it's just never been there. And it doesn't look any different this year. We're talking about a guy that's never thrown 30 touchdown passes outside of one season. He got to 32. And then that year, he didn't even get to 4,000 yards. This year, he's got 6 touchdowns through 4 weeks. Like, that's just what Derek Carr is. Not saying he's not a good quarterback. I like him, but from a fantasy perspective, he doesn't like emit those huge days, those huge volume numbers. And for me, that's why his upside's always going to be capped. And he always sits somewhere between 10 and 15. And that's Derek Carr. Like, it's just Derek Carr.
That's just who Derek Carr is as a fantasy quarterback. You never like really playing Derek Carr either. You just do it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's just he's exactly that. He is Derek Carr. And you know what also is exactly that? Our tight end rankings every week. It's Travis Kelce, it's Mark Andrews. Now TJ Hawkinson's slots in at number 3. There's actually some big interesting changes here to your tight end list. It's Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, surprise. Then TJ Hawkinson, Tyler Higbee, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. Where's Darren Waller? Where's George Kittle? These guys are outside the top 5. What's happening here, Aaron?
Yeah, no Kyle Pitts today. No, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I wasn't sure Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to play or not. We've now received word he is active, so I think that changes TJ Hawkinson a little bit. We saw what he was able to do last week when he was the focal point of that offense, especially in the passing game. But I still like him as a top 5 guy. I think that tight end room, or that they're going to try to work that tight end room a little bit more with him over this next couple of weeks. As we saw how it played out last week. Darren Waller is fighting for targets there. A little bit inconsistent. Hasn't been the guy that we've seen in the past. It has something to do with obviously Devontae Adams, but you gotta be somewhat concerned about his production thus far this season, especially the last couple of weeks. So that's why he's went down. George Kittle, I don't know what's wrong with George Kittle. He just got back, but obviously the talent is there. Is he going to receive enough opportunities to make an impact? So yes, there are some guys I like better. Dallas Goedert played great. Zach Ertz, I like the revenge game matchup there. And Tyler Higbee has been the only other guy on that Rams team that seems to be getting open and getting the football. So just some matchup things there, some plays that I just felt more comfortable with. And the one name that's not on that list that is surprising, I'm sure you guys didn't even mention it. I'm surprised you didn't. It's Pat Freiermuth. As much as I'm sure Kenny Pickett would love to throw to his tight end, I think he has one of the hardest matchups this week as a tight end. Matt Milano is the best cover linebacker in football. If you don't know who Matt Milano is, watch football. Like, the dude can cover. Right. He can cover, and he can cover tight ends. So I think there's a tougher matchup there. Maybe he gets some, it's tight ends. Who knows? Can he still go 4 for 50 and get into the top 10? Probably, but it's going to be a little bit tougher for him to find some space. And so I moved him out of my top 10.
Yep, no, that's fair. And that's our tight end rankings. That does it for all of our rankings. Little London game football update. Saquon Barkley has gone to the blue medical tent, hanging on to his shoulder. So shoulder injury for Saquon Barkley. Not good, Bob. Not good. Who knows? I didn't see the play. I did not see any of the play, actually. So I don't know if it's serious or not. But he is heading to the tent to get his shoulder checked out.
Christian Watson also got hurt, left with a hamstring injury. Not a great start to his career when it comes to the soft tissues. He's had them all season. The emergence of Romeo Doubs. He found himself in the back seat of trying to win over now an NFL spot. And
it's getting tougher.
It's
getting tougher.
And with those injuries in the London game, let's take a look at all of the rest of the injury reports for Week 5 fantasy football.
Oh, no, I can't get up. But Alvin Kamara can get up. He's back, baby. Alvin Kamara is back in the lineup. We're hoping for big things from him today. Going against that Seahawks defense is not very good. David Montgomery also back in the lineup. That's huge for the Chicago Bears. And I worry about the volume today, so be cautious and be leery about how much Montgomery actually gets. I'm probably sitting him if you have other options. I have him in a league. I'm actually just going to keep him out this week to see how he responds from that injury. Hunter Renfrow and Amon-Ra St. Brown, we mentioned. They're back in the lineup. T. Higgins is in, if you were concerned about that. Rondale Moore is back, so that's good for the Cardinals. Brian Robinson shot just, 7 weeks ago? back in the lineup. They said they'll see about 20 snaps today. Do not put Brian Robinson in your lineup today, people. He's only gonna see a limited amount of snaps, but that is good news going forward because that Washington run game hasn't been very good. CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, there was some illness there, some little tweaks of injuries. They are both in. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both in. Zay Jones, glad he's back. I need him. He's back in the lineup. And Ronnie Stanley is also playing today. That's huge for them. And the Bucks, everyone but Julio Jones. And this is exactly what we talk about with these old people. Okay, you can't with these old people. I got so much shit last year when the old man, the senior citizen, signed with the Tennessee Titans, and here comes AJ, old Falcons fan. Hey, yeah, I think he can do something special. And Julio Jones, and I said, man, he's washed. He's washed, man. I tried week 1. He came out, he had a spark, and then the spark hit his kneecap, and he couldn't do nothing anymore. He's
dead.
Out. He's dead.
And this is why every time Julio Jones catches a pass and goes down hard or whatever, we're like, oh, he's dead. He's never going to come back to the field. And well, guess what, guys? He's not back on the field. Julio Jones out, but the rest of the Bucs wide receivers are in. And thank you for.
Can I ask you a question? Well, why don't we have inactives?
Oh, I forgot about that. Shit.
Jesus, man.
I had it.
Well, I'm glad you didn't do like that week 2 where you just rolled right into the streamer or sleeper.
I did.
So inactives early. Keenan Allen is out still with that hamstring injury. We know who knows when he's going to get back. He's getting old too. Dawson Knox and Isaiah McKenzie both inactive today. Big losses because we know Jamison Crowder's already out. The Bills are thin at wide receiver. Maybe we see AJ's boy Khalil Shakir. Maybe he gets to get on the field a little bit. Logan Thomas is also inactive. There goes my putting him in the top 10 of tight ends. And Jarvis Landry. I didn't even mention Michael Thomas. We know Michael Thomas is out, but I know you don't want me to go a rant with Michael Thomas. So Jarvis Landry is also out. Congratulations, Chris Olave lovers. You'll have another week where he produces because he's the only damn player that's on the field. He's getting opportunities.
I almost put on here all Bucs wide receivers except because I did I did all the Bucs. Now I could have done all Saints wide receivers except Chris Olave because that's pretty much what it is there. That's pretty much what it is. An update on Saquon Barkley. He has now gone to the locker room and is questionable to return in that London game. So not good news for a Christian McCaffrey. Not good news for a Saquon Barkley. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he was talking shit about Alvin Kamara. So this is going to be the day where Alvin Kamara pops off and he eats shit because Saquon Barkley's out. It's good because I'm playing him and I had Nyheim Hines get out.
Got to know when to hold him and know when to fold him.
There you go. Let's get into our sleeper.
And now for your sleeper of the week.
Morning, sunshine.
Fitting I have the sleeper, right?
Yep.
Morning, fellas. Morning, Bailey. How we doing?
Good morning, Bailey. What's your sleeper, Dylan? Go on. What's your sleeper?
Yeah, this sleeper, I'm telling you, it's an oddball, but I really dove into it. A Mike White kind of day for Mr. Bailey Zappi. Owned in 0.6% of leagues. Give me Bailey Zapper Magoo, baby.
Wow, that could almost
Lions
be like a streaming
defense,
quarterback.
They get shredded. They get shredded.
Okay. All right. Hold
on.
on.
You got Dak on IR and you're 1-3 and you need a damn quarterback. Give me some Zappy in here, huh?
Okay. Let me ask you a question here. Since this is your first appearance on the show, I want to dive into Bailey Zappi or Teddy Bridgewater.
Zappy.
Bailey Zappi or Derek Carr.
Carr's got Kansas City.
Yep.
I think you could go either way, but I like Zappy.
Okay. Bailey
Zappy. I believe Zappy's going to have one of these days where it's like, holy shit, he's got 25 plus. And I'm not here to screw you like Treylon Burks when he got hurt. I'm seriously, I'm solid here saying Bailey Zappi is going to be a great play today.
You put him over to Teddy Bridgewater, who's number 12 on Aaron's list. So that's you're saying a top 12 performance from the Zapster, Bailey Zappi. I like it. What a way
to prepare. He's ready.
What a way to come in to start the show for you, Bailey Zappi, your sleeper of the week. And honestly, it could be your streaming quarterback of the week if we were to go down that route. But we don't go down the streaming quarterback routes because we go down the streaming defense route.
Oh,
my goodness.
shit.
This is unbelievable. Hold on. I'm sorry. I had to ruin it. Everyone in the studio in the green room, like in the back, was like just super hyped. I feel like because Dylan went Bailey Zappi and was so hot out the gate, and also because of the fact that the intro and whatever.
That drop
Sorry,
is familiar.
had to ruin the moment. Oh shit! Whoopsies!
2 weeks in a row. This gondola going down some whitewater rapids in this month. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Streaming Defense Week. Host, I have a question for you because it just hit my mind today. All right, so with streaming defenses, obviously we are looking for people or teams that are not rostered in very many rosters. What do you call a successful streaming defense? Like, what are you looking for points-wise from a successful streaming defense?
7+ points.
Okay.
7+ points. I feel like that's a fair number for a streaming defense that you're getting off the waiver wire.
I actually felt the same way. So check this out.
Now, hold on. Let me ask you a question here. Let me return the favor and ask you a question. Do you have 6 defenses for me today, or you just have one?
No. Just like normal. One honorable mention, one real defense. There's only 1 week that I did. There's only 1 week I did 2 honorable mentions. I really need you to learn your math. I don't know what
6 defenses. Got it.
So I asked you that question because last week my honorable mention was a bad one. Steelers only put up 5 points regardless of their 1 sack and 2 interceptions. My Chicago Bears didn't get in the backfield. But they put up 7 points for the last week. So right on that line for my actual streaming defense last week. This week, my honorable mention, funny enough, we talked about them, the Seattle Seahawks. No week less than 8 fantasy football points. Just keep that in mind for their defense. But the defense I am giving you for my streamer today is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Owned in 18% of sleeper leagues, 15% of ESPN leagues, and they got the Washington Manders today, the Carson Turd Wentz today. Listen here, Tennessee Titans have double digits in every single game. Against Indy last week and in week 1. 3 sacks last week, 3 forced fumbles last week, 5 tackles for loss last week. They were living in the backfield. And now they get a Carson Wentz who's been sacked 17 times on the season, the most in the NFL, and scored single digits in fantasy the last 2 weeks. Now, we're talking about a streaming defense. They're not owned in a lot of leagues for a reason. They give up a lot of passing yards. However, Jahan Dotson's out. Logan Thomas is out. And if they're getting in the backfield, he's not going to have the time to find these deep threats like a Terry McLaurin. So a lot of creativity will have to be met from Curtis Samuel, and you can stop those types of plays. So for a streaming defense, something's got to give. But I'm going ahead with the Tennessee Titans. I think they are a great streaming defense. If you can find them, load them up.
Okay. All right. I don't hate it. I don't hate your pick here this week. I don't. And I'm happy you didn't give me 6. You only gave me 2, which we're getting better. We're getting better. Now, last week I didn't have a transition for the DraftKings intro. This week I do. And if you remember what we used to call this DraftKings lineup, it was a rotisserie style. We talked about chickens. And I know this intro didn't really go over well with everybody. So I'm trying it again because it was really the first thing I could find. Let's get into our DraftKings showdown.
Brian, can I see that paper for a sec? Huh. That's odd. I thought that would be big news.
You thought what would be big news?
Well, there seems to be an absence of a certain ornithological piece. A headline regarding mass awareness of a certain avian variety.
What are you talking about?
Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what? Brian, don't!
Oh, well, a bird. A bird, a word, a well, a bird. A bird, a word, a well, a bird.
It's time for our draft.
I love that.
Showdown here. Good. Last year it didn't go over like so well. It's really long. I have to shorten it up. I got to do a lot of work to it. But the fact that I didn't have a transition kind of got me going. So I was like, okay, let's see if we can pull this back in. It is time though for our DraftKings Showdown. This is where we go head to head and draft our DFS.
Better, boys.
What?
I'm getting so much better, boys. They came in second.
Oh yeah, you did.
Before we get started, Dylan, you came in second last week. Vinny won last week. AJ, you took a big hit because you already missed a week, and then you were not very good last week.
I got cute last week.
Final score or official after 4 weeks right now. Vinny is in the lead with 512.4. I am at 494. Dylan's at 484, and AJ's at 402. Obviously, we know you're playing with a little bit of a handicap.
That's
So.
cool. Okay.
AJ's score has an asterisk next to it. That's what it comes down to. Maybe we'll let AJ do. Maybe we'll let
AJ has
do
an
like
asterisk next to it.
also true.
AJ, why the hell you dress like a NASCAR driver?
West Virginia.
First off,
We go fast here.
As a muff. Anyways,
That's funny. All right, so our DK showdown here. I got the dub last week, so I'll decide the draft order. I have a hard time because I've already kind of have an idea of what I want to go with, and I don't know if I want to pick first or last because I really like the.
Should we put James Robinson on your team?
That's the thing. I don't want to lose out on James Robinson. I know how high everyone is on him every week. So,
now or later.
Well, maybe if you didn't freeze, then we wouldn't have to run into this problem.
Oh, I like it.
Okay, so the way this is going to work here is I am going to give Dylan the first pick. I'm going to give AJ, then Aaron, then me. Dylan,
Okay,
you're on.
I'm going to outsmart Aaron's strategy because I know he's going here. Give me Bailey Zappi.
With the first pick.
This guy gets fucking quarterbacks every week, and I'm tired of this bullshit.
Okay, all right. Glad I got Dylan out of the way first. All right, Bailey Zappi with the first pick of your fantasy football draft. Dylan Kern selects Bailey Zappi.
that is amazing. I'm wow.
B-roll.
Oh,
shit! He played the B-roll. That was classic. Bailey Zappi with the first. Hey, Dylan, you know the idea of the DraftKings, right? Is to if you know nobody here would take Bailey Zappi, you're not supposed to take him there. You take somebody that maybe somebody else would take.
Yeah, but you're going to get him eventually, and I wanted him.
AJ, you're on the clock.
all right.
Ooh, we got a ball game, boys. Tie ball game.
I will also start with my QB here, and I'm going to go with Joe Burrow.
Joe Burr.
Okay, Joe. Oh my.
I will take.
Two bad picks here.
Oh shit! I'll take Alvin Kamara.
With my back-to-back, I will take Nick Chubb and Mr. Thomas Brady.
Wow. Okay. I will take game time, baby. I'm going to take Jamal. Lying, I'm not taking Jamal.
Come on, AJ, make your pick.
Excuse you.
That was an insult to AJ.
Exactly what it was. You should.
Yeah.
You really need to learn your black people.
I'm
man.
confused, Vincent.
I'm gonna take Damien Harris.
Okay. All right.
All right. I will go to the other side of that backfield and take Ramon J Stevenson.
Ooh. Dylan on the board for 2.
Oh, I'm on the board for 2. Give me Fournette and also Devontae Adams.
Okay. Mr. Alfonso Johnson.
Whoa,
You're good to
whoa. The government's on here, homie.
There goes Alicia.
That's not Alicia.
What?
He
He says it with a smile.
It's not.
He says it with a
No, it was, but it wasn't. You're good. AJ, you're on the clock.
Yes.
There's Alicia.
You know, it's funny. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna trust you, Aaron. I'm taking Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Taking Jamar
Wow.
Chase.
Goes and hates on Jamar Chase.
I didn't hate on him. I said I was nitpicking and be careful, but he
Okay.
made some good arguments.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. All right.
It's okay.
Aaron.
It's on me. It's on me, baby.
I want to put that DraftKings on me. You know, I'm ready for it.
Okay. I am going to take Mr. Travis Kelce.
No.
Can never go wrong. Yeah, well, you always take Travis Kelce. I guess that James Robinson, Travis
I
Kelce.
took him
not on the
last
same
week.
level.
I finished there.
I will take my James Robinson here.
Damn it.
And I will go James. I'll stay in the same game. I'm going to go James Robinson, and I'm going to go Damien Pierce on the other side.
Is it me?
Nope.
Nope, it's me.
Hello.
Give me Mike Evans.
This is so funny. I really don't mean to keep doing this. Give me Chris Godwin.
You clown!
Oh man.
It's on you, Dylan.
That just threw me for a loop, fellas. I'm sorry. I had two of those guys selected, so it's going to take me here a second to think. Dalvin Cook's broken. He just doesn't run the same anymore. I'll take Jacoby Myers with a stack. He's off the. He's an active player that wasn't mentioned.
Dylan, right back at it.
And I'll go Gabe Davis.
All right. So I have Joe Burrow, Ramon J Stevenson, Chris Godwin, Jamar Chase. Give me Chris Olave.
Give me Dallas's defense.
Oh, that's who I had. I didn't think anyone was going to take him. Damn it. Good pick.
Of course you had him.
I did. I had them last week. There's a few players I normally go with. Dallas's defense is normally a staple in my DFS lineups, and James Robinson as well. While I was saying goodbye to my aunt-in-law, did anyone take Mike Evans?
Aunt-in-law, yes.
Yes.
And
Someone
got
took
him.
Mike Evans already. And got
Yes.
him. Fantastic. That's
We
great.
got screwed here. You had him too, didn't you?
No, that's fine. I will take Curtis Samuel, and I will take David Njoku.
Oh, trash hole. Oh, you
Yeah,
trash
I try
hole.
my best. I try my best.
All right.
It's on me, right? It's on me, baby.
I got designer on me.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Jesus. I gotta get some wide receiver help, boys. Give me. Oh, I was gonna go crazy there. Damn, AJ, that was a good pick in Chris Olave.
Needed it.
That was a really good pick. Give me Josh Palmer.
Interesting. Not where I thought you were going to go. Not where I'm okay that you went there. Let me. Damn. Give me Gerald Everett. Dude, I keep doing. I am not planning this. I'm basically picking the same game Aaron picks each time.
Young Gerald.
Oh,
Me
man.
for two?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I'll go Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's had a great year. And then, tight end or defense? We'll go Dallas Goedert.
I'm gonna do it. Give me Breece Hall.
Aaron, you're on the clock.
It's on you, baby.
It's on me, baby.
I got designer on me.
Jesus. Give me. Oh, I hate picking in this game, but give me Devin Singletary.
Okay.
Well,
All right. I will go with my back-to-back. I will take. I don't like having a lot of people in this game because it's simple. Give me Zay Jones, and give me. Man, this kind of threw me off here.
right.
Yeah, it was the Mike Evans not being my. I was really banking on him being my guy. Like I leaned on heavily for my top wide receiver spot. So give me that Zay Jones, and let's go with. Give me some Drake London.
Damn, I can't believe it. I
Give me some
can't
Drake
believe
London.
it. I was like, go to the same game. Go to the same game. I was thinking about it. I was sitting there. You made my decision for me.
Yeah.
Luckily.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my pick.
Yep, I know.
Give me Rondell Moore.
Ooh, first game back, like Rondell Moore, huh?
Second game back. He played 86% of the snaps last week. I'll take
Ooh,
it.
okay.
Oh, sorry. We're idiots here.
I mean, I'm just telling you, it was the second game back, Dylan. Jesus Christ.
We're so dumb.
So I said you made my pick, and then I'm actually going to pivot, but I'm okay with the pivot because he's still available. Tough matchup, but I'm going to do it anyway. Give me Josh Jacobs.
That gives me confidence. I have him in my fantasy lineup. I was a little worried about him going up against the Chiefs.
You should
A
be.
little bit.
Yeah.
That offensive line, you should be.
Yeah.
And then I just had, this is our last pick, right?
This is our last go. Well, no, once
No.
it's Dylan's turn for 2, and then it's,
Yeah. Dylan got 2, baby.
Oh,
I
that's
want to
what
get too on. I want to get too on. I always got song references. Y'all throw it at me.
You gonna make
You
your
It's
got
your
pick
pick.
references?
Shut up.
Wait, I'm on right now?
Yes.
Yes.
It's your pick for 2.
Okay. Give me the Miami Dolphins defense. I like them for 6 against
no Xavier Howard today.
I don't care.
Okay, just letting you know.
It's the Jets. Sloppy conditions in New York. That or it's cold, one or the other. I know it's cold. up here.
Wait, so you don't actually know what the conditions are for
I
this
don't.
game?
It's cold, so the Jets aren't
All I
going to play
know-
well up there, but Miami, they're going to knock it out of the park.
I don't know. Shoot, that means I need another Nico Collins. Donovan.
It says, all it says on the weather report is sunny.
Oh man.
Great analysis, Dylan.
Nico Collins or Donovan Peoples. Flip a coin.
Come on, man. That one.
Flip a coin.
Just say a name. That's what to pick a number.
It's heads. Nico Collins.
You're such an idiot.
All right, and I am down to the defense. Give me Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, this is
Hey, move.
Aaron, you're up here, kid.
Yep, I'm just watching Saquon Barkley back in the game go crazy.
40 yards.
And they swiping at that shoulder.
The Giants for real? I mean, were we wrong about the Giants? Are they for real?
I don't know, man.
Were we wrong
Beat
about
the Packers? I mean, how can we not look at? I mean, they got by the count. Anyway, I'm taking Teddy Bridgewater as my quarterback.
See, I told you guys this is what he does. So I took Zappy
Well, I mean,
off the jump.
Yeah, but not first pick type of thing. You didn't have to. You didn't. The point being is
Dylan, I was never taking a quarterback until my last pick.
Yeah,
because
you
that's
never-
what he always does.
I'm ride or dying by Zappy. This roster looks like crap.
The Zapster.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
one more pick, and it's going to be my defense. Give me the San Francisco 49ers defense going up against
Ooh,
Carolina.
Smart.
Yep.
Smart.
So my final team is Tom Brady, Nick Chubb, James Robinson. I would like to skip over my wide receivers and not say any of them, but I will say them anyways. Zay Jones, Drake London, Curtis Samuel, and then I have David Njoku, Damian Pierce, and the 49ers defense.
Kyle Pitts is out.
Okay. Kyle Pitts is out.
This
Where
guy,
have you
this
been?
guy, Vinny, and his Houston Texans and Jacksonville Jaguars. The AFC South is just.
Yeah, I don't
Get
like.
that game.
I don't, it doesn't feel great with 3 people from the same game of Houston and Jacksonville, but I'm hoping for the best here.
Yeah,
AJ,
Zay
who you got?
Jones, Curtis Samuel, and Drake London.
Yuck.
I mean, it's okay. Never
All
know.
right. Yeah, right. All right. So quarterback rolling with Joe Burrow. I got Ramon J Stevenson, Breece Hall as my running backs, Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, and Jamar Chase as my wide receivers. Gerald Everett as my tight end. I'm flexing Josh Jacobs, and my streaming defense of the week, the Tennessee Titans.
Aaron.
Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, running backs Damien Harris and Alvin Kamara, receivers Mike Evans, Rondale Moore, Josh Palmer, tight end Travis Kelce, greatest tight ends ever walked the face of the earth, Devin Singletary as my flex, and the Cowboys defense as my defense.
It's just
Dylan.
a safe team. It's just a safe football team. Then I look at mine and I see Zapper leading it off at quarterback. Running backs are Fournette and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Gabe Davis, Dallas Goedert, Nico Collins, Dolphins D.
Not a bad team. Not a bad team at all.
Your team's an
Like I
audio
said,
wave.
it
It's just straight
rides
up
and dies with Zappy.
Yeah, ride or die with Bailey Zappi here. All right, that does it for another fantasy show. We'll be back again live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, bringing you all the recaps for Week 5 of the NFL, and doing another. We'll be back for a DFS play tomorrow as well for our Monday Night Football DFS Showdown. Other than that, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at the Sac City Pod. For your boy AJ Johnson, for my best friend Aaron Mukes, and for old sleepyhead Dylan Kearns, I am me. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace out. Ride with Zappy.
Bye.
Zapper as the first pick.